Hey, what's up, people? It's V the Gorilla Economist coming to you live with my main guy over here, the one and only Dex, the Algocapitalist. And we're bringing you the news, the views, and everything that's important to you. So check out Dex over at pulsecantrading.com, pulsecantrading.com. And with that being said, Dex, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good to be back. Good to be back.
It's good for you to be back, my man.
Yeah, man. I miss you when I'm not on. It's all about Rogue Money. If you don't know, you better ask somebody.
Miss you too, brother, man. Where do you want to begin, man?
Man, there's so much going on. I mean, I don't really think you could go wrong starting just about anywhere. We got we got Russia in the news.
All that
Trump
tribe
meeting
so
with
BS.
Putin,
Yeah.
and now they're saying that Russia is has under trying to undermine our democracy. Yada yada yada. But here's the funny part, though. This is what they're not telling you. What they're not telling you is that the U.S. of A has been doing that for decades.
Mhm.
Remember the testimony of the what do you call himself, the the terrorist capitalist, whatever, what I'm talking about, the economic hickman. There you go,
Oh,
economic
yeah, yeah,
hickman.
yeah. John Perkins.
Yeah, yeah. So
I mean,
we already know about
it's the
this.
kettle. This is the problem, man. The problem is, you and I, we get it, right?
Hmm.
When are we, as the American population, going to sit down and have an adult conversation about what's really been going on the last 60 years or so? I'm not even talking about 100 years, but the last 60 years. When are we going to have a conversation about that? Let's, the BS propaganda of, like, we're fighting for freedom and democracy and all the other nonsense that goes along with it, man. It's remarkable.
Yeah, I have to admit, what's going on and what's been going on, it's like people really don't understand, I think, the news cycle. They don't understand that there are certain key words and things that they say. Now, here's how we know what's happening in the news without having an inside man, without reading some article somewhere, just by analyzing what you're seeing and hearing. Case in point, we know for since Trump got into office, um, there's the powers that be that have been complaining that he basically stole the election because he was in cahoots with some Russian hackers who basically fixed the election for him, right? Now, we know there is no truth to that whatsoever. However, as of yesterday, this is within the last 24 hours, they have now, quote unquote, named two or more assailants that have been apprehended in this Russian probe for interfering with U.S. elections.
Oh, my
So
God.
they found that they have. It took them enough time to create a patsy and to march them before the cameras and say, "See, we told you so." And here's the people that we have. They're going to take the fall, and we just proved this to you. I believe that that was done in some kind of backroom meeting. They said, okay, this is what we need to do because we put this news out here. Now we have to make it go away. Only way to make it go away is if we apprehend, the quote unquote suspects. And that's what they've done. But let me tell you what has happened in doing so. And I don't think people are catching this. I think a lot of people are missing it. All right. So, what are we really saying? Are we saying that the US is so weak, so frail of a country, so archaic in its infrastructure and technology that foreign entities can easily commandeer an election, that they can fix our elections? If you take it to its logical conclusion, what else have they done or are they doing? So we're so weak that we can't even control our own elections. If that's what you're saying, that we have no business doing anything overseas, talking about we're bringing democracy to said countries and toppling dictators, we're the worst of the worst. So why are we over there trying to fix other people? We want to set up their countries to be just as frail as ours. So let's get this straight. So we've gone from the most feared, the most powerful nation on the earth to the weakest nation on the earth. It's easy to attack us. You can fly planes into buildings and you can massacre tens of thousands of people at once. And that was done with people who have little to no air flight experience. Okay. Oh, and they did it with box cutters. They weren't even armed with real weapons. All right. They did it with box cutters. So all it takes is a few planes and some box cutters, and you can topple the global capitalistic icon that is New York City. And then not only that, but you're saying that we have fallen to the weakest, from the best to the weakest, and that now you can hack our elections and you can make president whoever you wish. Really? Okay. So you're saying that not only does it stop there, but China has successfully stolen much of our technology. So you're saying they were able to hack and even plant operatives within our government, and they were able just get secrets given to them, stolen. So we're that weak now. We have no security. We have no no firewall, no nothing. We're just bent over as a country. That's what you're telling me. You expect us to believe that? Well, that is exactly what they expect us to believe. So I think what the American people should be doing right now is ask themselves, how long are we going to continue to believe this nonsense that they're feeding us? What else have they been feeding us this nonsense? Well, they've been telling us that the economy is on fire and that we have the lowest unemployment rate ever. And everything is all systems go, right? That's what they're telling us. Well, I beg to differ. If you take a look at our financial markets, stock indexes have been going sideways now for months. Nothing's really happening there. In addition to that, we see that the bond market has just fallen all apart. Yeah, you bounce from the technical lows, but you're still super low, which means yields have no place to go but up. And then we look at this whole earnings picture. Now, I think that a lot can be said for the retardation of the American mind. Yesterday, when Amazon Prime had its Prime Day, they
I
claimed,
bought a product, by the way, on Prime Day. I couldn't help it, man. Sorry.
oh, hey, that's
Dude, they
everybody.
had a Super Nintendo edition, Nintendo 3DS XL, for like $140, dude. You didn't think I was gonna snatch it? Man, I snatched it.
Of course, but check it out though. Now, you, me, everyone else is going to go on there because that's what that's how it is.
It is
But
what it is.
but I'm a
Oh, and I
Prime
also
member.
snatched a PS4 Pro. I upgraded to the Pro.
What you pay for that?
340.
Oh, good deal, man. Good
Yeah, for the
deal.
1 TB.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I got one of those. I got the
And I
regular
got the new
Pro.
God of War. Oh my god,
Yeah, and I haven't stepped to
epic!
that yet because I get
Oh,
too much
dude,
into a
get
lot of
it,
games.
get it. It's sick.
Yeah, I know. I'm still playing NBA 2K11. So
2K11.
yeah, man. I'll explain all that later. But do you know that their website crashed yesterday?
Yeah, there was some problems. I was trying to get some items, and they kept going into like, "Oops, something happened. Oops, something happened" on their own webpage.
Now, guess what, though? This is the weird part. Their stock soared when that news came out that the website was crashing. That's how
That's
ignorant
weird.
people are. They equate it to, well, if the website is crashing, that means so many people are trying to get on there. Oh, that means our earnings are going through the roof. Not so fast. That does not mean that your earnings are going through the roof. See, what Amazon has done, which other companies I'm sure are going to soon follow suit, they have learned how to manipulate its shareholders. And they knew that all they had to do was touch the psyche of the shareholder by making it seem that they were getting so overwhelmed, their servers were so overwhelmed, so many people coming on, that it crashed the site. Do you know you can crash a site very easily? You can fix it so that after a certain amount of people come on your site, it crashes. Amazon, arguably the largest company in world history. You're telling me they don't have enough server power to service all their customers? Is that what you want me to believe? Amazon, Amazon is the
I
Google
mean, the
of
third
internet
of the
shopping.
internet is built on AWS, Amazon Web Services. A third of the internet, man. It's crazy.
Exactly. You're going to tell me this company whose stock arguably is really valued at $2,000 can't handle the server activity, but Google handles billions of search inquiries per day, and you're saying Amazon can't, and their stock is closely valued at $2,000 per share. Get out of here. We know the truth. We know that that was fixed, that was manipulated, and the people fell for it, and they bid the stock up higher for no reason. No earnings. There was no proof that earnings went through the roof. It just was the appearance of salesmanship. But as we know, every year that Amazon does this, they actually take a hit when they do it. They're not really making any money off of it. Really, what it's about is getting people to sign on to Prime. That's really what they want. And that's the truth. When you take a look at the paperwork, look at those K-10 filings, et cetera, you'll see that that's exactly what it is. It's all psyop to get people to sign up to Prime. So there you have it, folks. You have smoke and you have mirrors and you have sizzle with no steak. The next thing we have to really talk about here, it's what's really going on with the so-called trade wars and these tariffs. I believe that there's more than meets the eye with these tariffs and this trade war than what they're talking about. And they don't want people to really know what's going on. I believe that there is a situation with the import exports that is about to come to pass. Do you remember some time ago you and I were talking about the bulk to dry index? Remember that?
Yeah, that was like almost 2 years ago, man. The
Yep.
BDI.
Well, guess what? When you have these trade wars like this, you know what ends up happening? That bulk to dry index plummets. It's going to plummet because no goods and services are going to be getting moved around like they normally would have if these embargoes and trade wars were not in effect. Take a look at the commodity prices. They have just been getting punished these last couple of weeks because of these trade wars, just absolutely obliterated. Do you know the toll that it's going to take on our agricultural economy? Huge. Take a look at what's been happening with the oil prices. Crude oil was about to hit 75, $80 a barrel, easy. Now it's dropped back down into the 60s over this trade war. So it's going to affect the economies of scale in bigger ways than what people realize. So when goods and services stop moving around and there starts to be, uh, you know, our on-demand economy starts to dry up, you can bet it's going to really be felt by everybody. So there's no winners in these trade wars and these tariffs, and it's going to be losses all the way around. And I do believe that as a result, the stock market is red alert signals going everywhere that it is in a position to topple if this goes on much further. So at some point, this is going to have to come to a head before September. If it does not, we're going to start seeing the cracks in the dam, and it's going to be very difficult for them to plug them. So that's where we are right now. We're at a economic red alert as far as what is happening right now with these trade wars and tariffs. It's not going to end good for anybody, unfortunately. In addition to that, they've been talking about infrastructure for a long time, and they want to talk about, we're going to fix the bridges and the roads and all these things. And I'm sorry to say, not one brick has been laid yet. Nothing on the end of that promise is in effect yet. Even with the whole borders and building the wall, that's a joke too. Because under the Obama administration, don't forget, under his watch, the troops were commanded to be removed from the borders. I will never forget that. They removed troops from the borders. And that was done so that all the refugees could flood into the country. They wanted them to be flooded into the country. And isn't it funny that they already had the FEMA camp style thing set up for them? And if you look at some of the footage that the news has been putting out there, you see these people behind the fences in these cages in these Walmart empty type buildings and these empty Kmart and Toys R Us type buildings. All right. So that's what's been going on. These things were built ahead of time because they knew what they were starting to do. And that is the complete obliteration and takedown of American society, starting with its economy. I believe that is the dark secret that's going on. We're looking at a serious problem here. And I think we need to, as citizens, start voting people out of office. People always ask, what's the solution? That is the solution. That's the only thing that the American people can do right now is to vote every incumbent out of office, every single last one of them. That's the only thing you can do to fight back. Because beyond that, it's nothing that people can do. It's too late. Things have already escalated to a point of no return, unfortunately. And the last thing to go is going to be this bond market. If the 105, the 145 level doesn't hold in the bond futures, and we crash back below that 142 mark, all bets are off. You're going to start seeing some weird stuff happening all over. And with the stock market, if they don't fix it by the end of September, then that's going to be good riddance with that as well. So we're going to see sort of not a stagflation, but sort of a deflation effect take into effect here. Another thing that should be noted too is like with the dollar index. The dollar index has pretty much been holding steady around this 95 handle. That is a real show of strength with the US dollar. Anything 95 and above is a very strong dollar policy. So all this talk of, we want to compete with the import export, we want a weaker dollar, that's hogwash. If they wanted a weaker dollar, they would have kept it between 89 and 90. Instead, it's at 95 and on its way to 100. That's a strong dollar policy. That too is going to have ripple effects throughout the economy as well with that strong dollar. So yeah, help you if you're going to be traveling abroad. A strong dollar could help you that way. But as far as goods and services go, you can see those ships staying right at sea. Nothing's going to be going to port like that. So another issue too that I've been noticing is that look, as we speak, Johnson and Johnson sells hurt by strong dollar. You can't make this stuff up. Just as I'm talking about it here, it comes across the tape. Johnson & Johnson saying their profits have been hurt because of the strong dollar. Didn't I just finish saying that this strong dollar is going to tear people up? There you go.
Yeah.
Company's already coming out saying it. It just came across the tape. So there you have it, folks.
It's that monetary hypoxia. I've been talking about it for quite a few years. You've been mentioning it as well. This thing's only going to go higher. That's why. Why is it that you and I get this, dude? Why is it that you and I sit there and laugh when every other Friday somebody comes out that the market's going to crash on Tuesday?
I don't know why they do that, dude. I don't know. I don't know what's up there. I've been seeing it. It's like more and more videos have been popping up with this crash, that, and crash
Whatever
this.
that lady that was talking about, March 24th, it's all coming down.
I don't know what they're talking about. And
Yet,
notice how when the date
people
comes and
keep
goes, they don't
following them.
apologize.
People keep following them. They love that salaciousness of it all, man. They love it.
They think someone has some inside stuff, and they don't. And they don't understand what the real truth is anyway. The real truth is when something like that happens, the effect is so catastrophic, you don't even want to imagine it. That's why I don't think the people that are clamoring for that really know what they're talking about. You don't really want that. I'll be the first. I'm the first one to come on and tell you I don't want to see America collapse. I don't want to see the dollar collapse. I don't want to see any of that stuff. All right. And based on my own research, I don't see any of that happening. What I see happening is I would like to call it the central bank collapse. What that means is the central bank starts to enact their tactics that they use on third world countries and places like Argentina and Venezuela when they come in and they cut them off, they cut off funding to make it seem like the economy has collapsed when in fact it hasn't. It's just the central banks basically freezing their accounts. And I think that that's what they will do here too if they have to, to pass whatever police state things that they want to put up. So that's all it is. It's not a collapse in the true sense of the word, like, oops, I spent more than what I made. No, it's not that kind of a solution. They're doing this on purpose. So that's what it's about. Someone just wrote in the chat. They said the border here in San Diego is currently under construction. Yeah, San Diego doesn't count though, because that's not what we're talking about. San Diego is a military city. You got more bases there than just about anywhere else, so that doesn't count. As far as we know, we don't know what that is that they're doing down there.
I mean, Texas landowners have received letters. I can confirm this that the construction is about to begin on the wall.
Once the wall is up, then I'll change my tune. But until then, I don't buy it.
Well, there are parts of it going up in here and there, man.
I mean, look at it this way too. Even all right, let's say they do complete the task and it goes up. What difference is that going to make when the roaches have already flooded in? The roaches are in the kitchen. The time to close the windows and the doors would be before the roaches got in the kitchen. So it's too late. All right, so you left food out. You left food on the floor, on the counter, in the sink, on the stove. You came back, turned the lights on, roaches everywhere. And then you say, you know what? We gotta put up a wall now. We gotta pull up a door to keep the roaches out. It's too late. The roaches are already in. So I'm not comparing people to roaches. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't putting up a wall now makes as much sense as trying to clean up after roaches and rats are all up in your house.
Oh my God, you're calling people roaches and rats. It's so racist.
I know. Well, see, again, it shows the brain mind meld that people are under when they think that that's the only thing they heard in the statement. In other words, it's a day late and a dollar short. It really is. They already let people in for the last 8 years. People have been just pouring into the country. 8 years strong, 8 years nonstop. So
you're a xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, white supremacist, Dex. That's what you are.
I know, right? It is what it is. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for people to get these things, but it's like the government can do whatever they want. They can show anything they want on TV, and people still won't believe it. The president can come out right now and do a broadcast and say, by the way, we just had a bad meeting with all the state heads. Me and Putin didn't get along, so I decided to launch nukes at every country that's not the United States. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, we'll be the only country left. I just thought y'all would like to know that. Goodbye, have a nice day. And you know what? People will take that and say, breaking news. Trump has had on a red suit instead of a blue suit. What do you say about this? Like they heard nothing that the man just said out of his mouth. So that's where we are now as a country. The people cannot process information anymore. They've been so lobotomized that they don't understand real news when it comes out. They look for the things that the person's not even saying. And it's just ridiculous. But that's where we are. We're in a ridiculous crossroads right now where nothing makes sense. You would think that with all the sky is falling talk and war talk and all this, that gold and silver would be, at $10,000 an ounce right now. But it's not. Gold, as we speak, along with silver, is hitting new lows. Hitting new lows. But I know people are going to like to hear this. Bitcoin is rallying. It's up 715 now. There was someone on YouTube about a week or so ago that gave retracement projections. I forget who. That was Algocapitalist.
That was you.
All right. So the market is doing what it's doing. But trust and believe once it gets up to the long-term trend line resistance, it's going to be snapped again. Bitcoin is the new gold and silver. Every time it rallies, it's going to get crushed. So the next leg down after this retracement is over, we should fall from around, I want to say, the rally should end around 10,000 something.
Yeah.
Once we get up there to about 10,000, that's when the bears are going to come in and crush it. And when it falls this time, it's going to fall below the all-time low, and we're going to get down to that 4,000 handle I was telling you about.
Yep.
Yeah. So, someone said, "Are you talking? What are they saying in the chat room?"
I don't know.
You said something about clones. I don't know anything about clones. But another thing too is look at is the tech sector. They've been claiming the tech sector's been getting rocked and all this stuff. But guess what? The NASDAQ 100 right now just hit a new high. It won't stop. The train is not stopping, folks. So if you're talking about market crashing this and market crashing that, I want you to show it to me because the NASDAQ 100 just hit a new contract high, new all-time high, 7,428.75. There you go. That's where we're at. NASDAQ new high. And technically speaking, that's not going to be the new high. The way this current intraday price bar is setting up, I think the new high is going to stop somewhere around 75 and change. That's where we are right now. So, yeah, that's where we are, folks. And the Dow is trying to get its legs and rally a little bit too. So, it's trying to take out its prior highs as well. This is where we are, folks. I know I told you it's not going to make sense. I told you that as the economy is collapsing around you, the stock market is going to keep going up. And I did say that my fear was that they would put the brakes on the precious metals, and that's what they've done. That's what they've done. And it's sad. But this is where it is. So, what you're supposed to do is make as much money as you can while you can so that you can, stack your gold and silver like you're supposed to. Make sure you got, canned foods and stuff like that and water. So if there is a supply disruption, that you'll be good to go. That's what you need to do. And yes, anyone can do it. I know what people are going to say, but what about those on a fixed budget? Even people on a fixed budget can still do it. You can still do it. It is not impossible. You just do what you can. Instead of buying one can of pork and beans, you buy two, one to eat and one to store away. That's just that simple. You just do what you can. That's all you can do. I'd rather do something than to do nothing. Because at least if you do something, you'll be more prepared than the person who is not doing anything at all. So I just want to encourage people with that because people always say, what can we do? What's the solution? Well, the solution right now, when the markets are rallying the way they are, buy something. All right. if you want to get involved, you've never been involved before, that's when you go to pulsewavetrading.com so you can learn how to do this. It really doesn't matter what stock you buy right now. You can buy, stock in the tech sector. You can buy, the big 30 Dow stocks. It doesn't matter what you buy. Would I buy Bitcoin right now? Technically speaking, yeah, the system put out trade recommendations to get long the Bitcoin on this current correction. So if you're in the spot crypto world, then you can use that and you can get long the crypto that way. Those of you that have been trying to watch the futures, just understand that they built this futures contract kind of flipped it. It's not like the other futures contracts where you can go in and you can, trade it the way you trade it. No, they put rules and stipulations on it. Unfortunately, you can't use a protective stop. There's no stop orders allowed. That's right. You cannot buy on a stop or sell on a stop. You have to use limit orders only, which means you have no choice but to sit there and monitor the screen. They actually designed this so that you have to day trade it basically, which is ridiculous. Um, yeah, someone said, do you think the ETF gonna cause to crash or go higher? Well, here's the thing. I think that the once the Bitcoin puts in a nice true bottom, I think it's going to be off to the races. And you guys need to hear this. All right. You heard me say that I think it's going to hit 4,000. I still believe that. But afterwards, I believe it's going to take out the high, which is 20,000. I think Bitcoin is going to take out the $20,000 high after it puts in that support low. That's what I believe. And the reason for it is because they're in talks right now to put out more Bitcoin ETFs and blockchain ETFs. And they're also going to be introducing more futures contracts on the crypto space. You only do that when you plan for the market to head higher, much higher. Just keep in mind, too, with futures contracts, folks, the way they designed this one, if they do the other ones like that, you won't have a choice but to set by the screen and day trade it. And you have to use limit orders, so it kind of sucks. But if you're going to trade it, you have to sit there and day trade it, be in, be out, whatever. You can't step away. You got to watch the market. On the ETFs, you don't. You just buy those. So when those come out, just look for buying opportunities and get long. Like today on the GBTC ticker, this was a good day to get
The
long at the
LGBT
open.
sticker.
Now this is the GBTC, the only current Bitcoin ETF type stock that you can buy right now. There are other ones in the space, in the whole blockchain space that you can get long. I've talked about those before, like BTCS and BTSC, which I hate, and there's a few others out there. I just right now it's eluding me the ticker symbols. But anyway, you can get long those, and the one that's the most volatile is the GBTC because it tries to track with the whole crypto space the best. Um, let's see. Oh, everyone keeps asking me too about the whole cannabis industry thing. They've been putting out news about those forever, and my thing is, most of those shares are still sub penny shares. So if you believe in the particular company, you read the prospectus, you believe in it, just buy some and keep it in your back pocket and forget about it. That's the only thing I can recommend on that because they're sub penny stocks. It's not like, you're going to lose your shirt on it or anything. You're only going to put in a couple of $100, whatever you can afford, and just forget about it. You got to buy and hold it. It's a sub penny stock. You can't really trade it. Meaning that to me, the word trade means go both long and short. Only an idiot would short a penny stock. All right. You don't short penny stocks unless you want to go into bankruptcy. You just don't do it because out of any moment, a penny stock can open up the next day at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100. Then what do you do? You feel me? So I'd rather be long in that thing than to try to short those things. So I'll buy them. I don't currently own any marijuana shares right now. I don't own any cannabis shares. I do have long positions in the Bitcoin blockchain space. I do have those, but I don't have anything in the cannabis. I do have one small position in the lithium space, which I've been taking a bath on because that whole lithium space is just bugging. But like I said, when you're dealing with sub penny stocks, you buy some and you just walk away. You know, it's already at zero, so it's not like you can lose any any more than what you put in it. But once things get going, those shares, man, they can go bananas. I believe one day the cannabis space will go bananas to the upside. I truly believe that, and I believe that a lot of the blockchain stocks are going to follow suit, and eventually gold and silver will do something once we get a real story in there. Now I do have a few cryptos, but that's about it. I'm not active in that whole Bitcoin alternative coin space. So that's all I can tell you on that. But I do cover that in the daily post wave price triggers. I cover over 30 cryptos. I cover all the every ETF you can think of on all the exchanges, all the stocks, all the futures contracts, forex, you name it. Anything that you don't see on the report that you want to see on the report, I can easily add to it. And that's just what we do, man. That's how we roll out. What we do is we get the report. The first thing we look at is the rally and crash alerts. And then we look at where the price triggers are or the intraday price inflection points. And then we position ourselves and wait for the market to come to us. If the market doesn't come to me today, then I'll wait for the update report, see if the entry price for the price inflection point has changed. If it has, I'll cancel, replace my tickets, and just like I say, you're just hunting. You're waiting for the market to come to you. Sometimes you have to wait for the market to fall. Sometimes you have to wait for the market to rise. But that's what you're doing. Like today, I'm along this little stock index rally. We'll see how high it goes, and then I'll get the heck out of the market by the close today, and then reposition myself for the next day. That's what we do. I like to take profit on my stuff pretty much every day if I can, and then reposition. I just like to go home with money in my pocket, and I never hold positions over the weekend. Investments I'll hold over the weekend, but not trades. Anything I'm trading in and out of, long and short, I do not hold positions over the weekend because we live in perilous times and any and everything can happen. Seems like things like to always happen on Sundays. Just happens. It just happens like that. And then when the markets reopen Sunday night, that's when you see either a bloodbath or some type of, euphoria rally. And if you went home on Friday and you're on the opposite side of that position, there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. So that's why you don't do that. Yep. So that's what I do. And there's another reason I don't hold over the weekend because when the futures markets open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night, I get to see what's happening, what's moving, what's shaking. And I can position myself Sunday night easily. But I can't do that.
Dex, you there? Dex, you there? Interesting. Let's see if we can get him, folks. Try calling him. I think they cut his mic. All right, here we are. We're going to be calling Dex now. His phone's ringing. That's why we do it live, folks. Anything could happen.
Hello.
Hey, man. What happened, bro?
That are not
I think you might be back.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I can hear you on the phone, but not on the on the Hangouts. It's very strange. Let me check the. Do you folks in the room hear Dex? Hold on, man. Let me check the room. Let me see if people in the room could hear you or not. Okay, hold on. No, nobody hears you, bro. Only on the phone. Try logging out and come back in, Dex. Try logging out and come back in. Yeah. All right. Let's see if he comes back, folks. Okay, Dex, you there?
Yeah, I hear you now. What happened?
I don't know, man. You just cut out. You already just cut out. Now there's two of you on the screen right now.
That is weird.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
What in the world? Yeah, I saw it was weird. I saw an error thing on the screen
There you go.
and on the chat, and I tried to put a chat in. No one can hear me.
Yeah, it's strange. Now you're good to go, man. Go ahead. If you're saying, go ahead.
What was I saying?
I don't know. You cut out.
What was the last thing I said?
You're talking about the weekend sell-offs.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what has been happening is like big gaps have been happening across the future space. So what I try to do is I like to go home flat on Friday by the close, just in case there's some huge, gaps come Sunday night, and then you're just exposed. So it's just better that way. But the futures do open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday nights, so you can easily get in the market. And if you happen to have some long equity positions come Sunday night, you can easily get in and you can short futures to offset those long equity positions if you have to. So I just wanted to put that out there for people. I like to drop nuggets when I can. As far as the crypto space too, there was something else I wanted to say on that. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I've been seeing news on this. You guys can tell me what your experience has been, but it does appear that a lot of coins went to zero. Does anybody know what's up with that? Was that fake coins or something, or what?
What coins
It
went to
seems like
zero?
a lot of coins have gone to hit that zero space.
All
At
right.
one point, wasn't it like 2,000 coins?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw a news article. They were talking about it in the news a few days ago. They were saying that a lot of the cryptos went to zero. So I don't know.
Didn't hear anything about it, man.
So whatever you have has not gone to zero. That's good.
No, not at all.
That's good to know. All right. Well,
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah, I mean, they were pumping it. I seen it on MSNBC. I seen it on Bloomberg. I seen it on CNBC.
Oh, I mean, that's MSLSD, man. You know,
and they were just talking about it. They kept talking about it for a long time. They were bringing all these so-called people on and say, well, that's because it's a Ponzi scheme and, it's not real money.
Yeah,
blah,
but
blah,
meanwhile,
blah.
what they pump is real money.
Exactly. Yeah. Fiat's real money. There,
That's
there
real
you go.
money. Mm-hmm.
Fiat never goes to zero, right?
Right, exactly. Never in history. It never goes. It just hyperinflates to oblivion.
Pretty much. Now, here's another thing too. Back to those sanctions. Now, they're talking about Russia sanctions and keeping those in place. It seems like neither party knows what they're doing. Why do you need to put sanctions on anything? It's like it's being used as a tool to just stir up the hornet's nest. There's no reason for it.
No, it's next to useless when it comes to Russia. It has no effect on them whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. I mean, think about it. Okay, so I'm upset with you, V. I'm mad at you. So now I'm going to slap you with a tariff.
Oh man.
Okay, this tariff means that instead of you paying me to do an hour show, you still got to pay me the same price, but I'm only going to speak for 5 minutes now. That's I hit you with a 55-minute tariff. All right. Now, is that what is the point? No one seems to be able to truly explain what the purpose is on these tariffs.
It
Everybody's
has
screwed up.
no effect whatsoever, man. It's just political grandstanding. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense though. It's I don't think that people know what they're doing. It's like is everyone just out to lunch? Do we
Oh yeah,
have the psychopaths running the insane asylum? Because
oh yeah.
that's what it will appear to me. And they're still pumping this, this whole the Russians hacked the election.
Oh yeah, oh, absolutely. You know, I love what Putin said the other day. He said, "Yeah, $400 million came from a bunch of Russians that we investigated and caught, and that $400 million went directly into the campaign coffers of Hillary Clinton. Maybe you ought to investigate that." That
Yeah,
was a huge thing.
but here's another thing too. This is the part. It's like Americans have very short memories.
Goldfish,
Under
man.
Obama's watch, they changed the rules and the laws. They passed laws making it legal for foreign entities to invest money into American elections.
Mm-hmm.
Bad idea.
Yep.
But they opened the door to all of this, and now they want to cry foul.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yep, they want to cry foul because their war goddess didn't win.
See, they tried to rig the elections for themselves, and then it backfires, and then the other person gets in office. But here's another part, though. This is the part where I don't even deal with it and talk about it that much because it's theater, but it's bad theater. There's no such thing as good and bad as far as Republicans and Democrats. They're all the same. They want you to think that they're fighting each other. There's infighting. There is no infighting. They are in it together at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what face you put on the presidency. They're the same. They're the same person. The Democrat is the same as the Republican. Look at all the so-called scandals that ever come out. And what do you have? You have Republicans guilty of the same things that Democrats are guilty of, and vice versa. All right. There is no King David in office. Never has been, never will be. The only thing that we got close to it was a Kennedy, and you see what they did to him. So it's not going to happen, folks. I don't think that
So
anything that you see here is going to have any good effect on
You're
us.
so pessimistic, Dax.
Yeah, I know.
Plus,
I'm
you're
a
a racist,
realist.
homophobic.
I can't help it. I
You-
can't help it.
It's your racist. It's your racist ways.
Well,
Because you're a white supremacist. That's why.
I know. Oh, look. Now, look, after all this, now they want to come out. They talk about a leveraged gold ETF. So everyone's looking at some. They didn't say which one. They just said leveraged gold ETF trading, its size and volume. That's all they're saying. They're not letting you know which one. They're just saying that basically some big entity is in there buying a lot on this leveraged gold ETF. So that should let you know everything you need to know right there, folks. Someone is placing a bet that something is about to happen in gold. Now, let me just say this, folks. If you never heard me say it before, I'm about to give you another nugget. Never base any kind of investment decisions or trading decisions on anything you see on MSNBC, Bloomberg, CNBC, whatever. Want to know why? Because it's fake. I guarantee you that someone that they know put in a big position in gold.
Yep.
And now they need the riffraff, the retail traders, to buy into the news so that this person who took the big position can get rich. Because if enough people come in and push the price up, then they can dump and get the heck out.
Correct.
All right. Someone said, what about Kramer? All right. Here's the big truth on Kramer. At the end of the day, Kramer is about entertainment. He is extremely knowledgeable about the game. He has good fundamental information on, stocks and things of that nature. But as a trader, he is not really a trader. Yes, he ran a mutual fund back in the day. Okay. Yes, he understands the business and he understands the markets themselves, but he is really all about entertainment, but he does add value. Let me tell you where he adds value.
He's very entertaining.
I think he does good with fundamental analysis. He's a very good fundamental analyst. He can tell you about Johnson Johnson's earnings and the products and the CEO and this and that, and it'd be all correct. But I would not make any trade recommendations based on what he says. I think he's entertaining. I watch Kramer. I don't watch it every day, but whenever I get a chance, I like to watch it because it's very entertaining. And I like to hear some of the fundamental stuff that he talks about with said stocks. And then what I do is I'll write a couple of the ones down he talks about, and then I'll follow it and I'll run it through my system and see what the price movement is in it after he talks about it to get an idea of what's really going on. So I watch it because I know what to listen for. The average person watching Kramer is being misled. I mean, that's all. That's the only way I can tell you. You're being misled.
Right.
But for those that are in the business or in the know, like myself, it's entertaining, and sometimes he lets things slip out.
But
you
he
can make
said
money
his
off of it.
fundamental analysis is so good. He has such
It
good
is.
fundamental. I mean, look at his fundamental analysis when it came to Bear Stearns. He was telling you to buy it on Wednesday.
That wasn't fundamental analysis.
I know, just joking.
That's what I'm saying. The uninitiated will see us. Oh, he said Bear Stearns is okay. No, it's a difference. He gave you his opinion based on an actual phone conversation he had with the CEO. He wasn't giving you fundamental analysis about their products. Fundamental analysis talks about is another way of saying you're looking behind the technicals of a particular stock. So case in point, we'll use Bear Stearns since you brought that up. If on that day when he did the Bear Stearns thing, if he would have said, Bear Stearns just released their report, they are selling more widgets this time today than they did last year. We see here there's a contract for XYZ company to purchase these widgets from them. They got a new thing here where they're selling some new securities and they're really taking off. Here's this and that. Then you know what? I would have said, whoa, that was dope. But that's not what he did. He just said, oh, there's just rumors, it's not real. I talked to the guy, everything's okay. No, that's not good enough. That's not fundamental analysis. That's your conjecture. That is you saying that you talked to someone and you believe what they said. That's totally different. All right. Had he really told him something, that would have been insider trading, and you can't do that. You can't do that in stocks. Even if he did know something, he can't. By law, Kramer cannot talk to a CEO and then speak something on his show that is not public knowledge. That's called insider trading, and you go to prison for that. Does that make sense? So, when people give you have to just be able to separate the meat from the bone, know what is real and what's entertainment. When he told you that story of the Bear Stearns, that was entertainment. That was not fundamental news. Fundamental is fundamental about the technical aspects of a business, like earnings and things like that. What's going on in a company, mergers and acquisitions, research and development.
Did you say murders and acquisitions?
I said
that's kind of like what happens out there,
Oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? So that's what that's about, you guys. Like I said, I keep my Bloomberg turned on 24/7
because you like the entertainment. That's why
I like the entertainment, and I like the news that comes over the wire.
Yeah.
But see, when I say the news, I don't mean take what they just said, it came over the wire, and then run with it as facts. You got to be able to read what are they saying, and then what are they not saying, and then look what's happening in the market that they're talking about. If you don't understand, then you're just going to be reading it and you think you're getting something. You're not getting anything. And like I said, out of all of the other business channels out there,
yeah,
I like Bloomberg the best only because back in 2008, when the financial crisis was happening, They were the only ones that had their people on the trading floor at the New York Stock Exchange. And she was walking around with her mic and talking to some of those brokers on the floor. And they went into commercial break. She came back and said she talked to some other ones that was not on camera. They wouldn't talk on camera, but they told her, and I quote, they had one had 5 million to settle on the close. Another one had 50. There was, I mean, when you added up all the math, all the numbers she was putting you out there, she was letting you know that it was like $1 billion of business that needed to be filled on the close. And at the time she was talking, it was 5 minutes into the closing bell. And the market, listen, the market had rallied up to that point. So when you hear that, and they're telling you they got $1 billion worth of sell orders coming to the market at the close, you are a fool if you're holding a long position after listening to that. You're an idiot. So me being me, I said, word.
Thanks,
I
man,
went in and I
that
put
should make me feel good. I remember that, and I held a long position.
Dude,
Thank
I put in a sell short ticket on that S&P 500. I'm here to tell you that thing dropped 30 points. The Dow fell almost 800 points after the close. So by the time the Dow closed, it closed up because it rallied the day. And by the time they finished doing all the stuff on the close, it took an hour to settle the market. Boom, the Dow had dropped 700-800 points. And it's hilarious. All right, someone said, "Hey Dex, I heard this guy saying they're going to put in a law that companies can't buy back their stock, and that will make the market crash." That sounds like foolishness.
That's never going to happen.
No,
they're never going to pass a law where companies can't buy back their stock. That's ridiculous.
You want to take that and run with it, or you want me to handle it?
No, you go with it.
Okay. First of all, that's ridiculous.
We'll close out from there.
Yeah, you can't tell a company they can't buy back shares. That's one of the lines of business that companies do. All right, so to tell them they can't do that's ridiculous. And even if they did make a law saying they couldn't do that, they find a way around it and they would still do it. So no, that's ridiculous. And even if they didn't do that, that would not make a market crash, for the simple fact that mutual funds, especially, they have to have a certain amount of money invested in the market at all times, whether it's a bear market or a bull market. So they
Dex got cut off again. Dex, you there? Wow. Well, let me just call him and let him know. Sit tight, folks. Calling him on the phone. This is hilarious. Hey. Dex, you there?
Yeah, I hear you, but you can't hear me.
Yeah, you cut off for like 30 seconds, bro. But I don't know what's going on your end. Anyway, dude, we're give out your closing comments, man, and we'll wrap it up. Go for it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Postwavetrading.com. Right now, we got the free study course. You also get, and that comes with your purchase of the price triggers. You also get live coaching with me and access to the 24-hour live trading chat room and a bunch of other goodies at postwavetrading.com.
And with that being said, folks, we are over and out.
Peace.